everyone, Intuitive Edge here. Thank you for joining me. This is where we take an intuitive look at what's going on in our world. So I want to talk to you today about a topic that I find interesting, and I've been hearing people talk about it, and that is the Earth's Schumann resonance. So I don't know, most of you are probably familiar with what that is. If you're not, it's basically the electromagnetic field around the Earth, and it generally vibrates at a certain frequency, or it has for many, many years, somewhere around 7.85 hertz. That is, it's kind of like the heartbeat of the Earth, if you will. Now, lately, in the last few months, maybe a little longer, there's been some notable spikes in the Schumann resonance. And there's some websites out there where you can actually track, and these spikes are going up, to 15 from 7.85. Lately, they've been going up to 30. One time it went up to, I think in December, it was up to 50. And it's just kind of spiking up and going back down, but spiking up, which is a little unusual. And so people are wondering what is going on with the Earth. So I wanted to go ahead and ask the tarot and see what answers we get. So I'm going to shuffle up and we'll be right back and get started. Okay, so what is causing the recent spikes in the Schumann resonance? So the first card out is the World card. Now, when I look at this card, what comes to me, what I'm sensing or feeling with this is a buildup of stagnant or static, like an overabundance of electromagnetic energy in the atmosphere. And it's like being discharged into the Earth. But this has to do with a buildup of electromagnetic energy. And I feel like it's in the atmospheric realms. And I want to drill into whether that is being directed into the Earth or whether the Earth is trying to absorb it and mutate it and kind of bring it back to balance again. I feel like it's forces outside of the Earth. Like, I'm getting that there's a lot of energy coming in from the sun that is like adding to this electromagnetic energy, and it feels like the atmosphere is like overloaded and charged, and it's affecting the Earth. It feels as though this energy, like, it doesn't have the normal outlets, that there's so much of this energy buildup that the normal ways that it is released aren't working, or maybe some kind of block as to how this energy is getting released or transmuted. Okay, I'm going to move on because I've got 5 more questions I want to ask on this. But just suffice it to say that it feels like there's energy coming in from space, like from the sun or elsewhere, that is directed to the Earth, and it's saturating our atmosphere and causing an overabundance, and that is causing the Earth to kind of compensate. So anyway, I'm going to move on. It's kind of technical. I'm not a physicist. Trying to keep this in layman's terms as much as possible. So the next question I ask is, how are these changes affecting humanity? Now I've got the Page of Swords reversed. What it feels like with this card, I get the word temperamental. Could be a little emotionally, I don't know if unstable is the right word. It's not quite what I'm looking for. It's mostly a feeling of being a little on edge, a little touchy. Humanity could find themselves a little bit feeling like volatile, like quick reacting situations that normally maybe wouldn't call for that. It feels like there's a little on edge, I guess is a good way to put it. How are these changes affecting animal and or plant life? So I got the Two of Wands reversed. What I'm wondering with this is possibly affecting certain fowl, perhaps, with their navigation, maybe. The Two of Wands, let me show you. It came in reverse, so I'll show it to you upright. This is a card of, you're looking, having an outlook for your future, having a vision for where you want to go. And with that reverse, talking about animals and plants, I'm wondering if that is disrupting that vision process. So perhaps maybe birds in flight might have a little challenge, something about a challenge with the vision of where they want to go. Okay. So the next question, what led up to these fluctuations? I've got the Hanged Man on this. Now, initially when I turned this card over, I felt a lot of energy with it. This is a card of having to surrender to circumstances. To win by surrender, you have to kind of give a little to gain. And it feels like the earth, as we talked about, possibly with that bombardment in the atmosphere of that electromagnetic energy, that somehow it's having to deal with what it's been given and work with what it's been dealt. So the earth in her own way. Now, then my next question is, how will these fluctuations affect the earth itself? So we'll see what that next card is. I haven't turned that over yet. But in what led up to this, it looks like the earth is just having to deal with what it's been given. Okay. Okay, so the next card out on that question of how will these fluctuations affect the earth itself, I've got a conflict card of the Five of Swords. Okay, this card, I've been sitting looking at this card for a few moments just to get, I'm drawn to, again, the atmosphere in this picture. Now, I'm looking at those swords as a type of like lightning rod, something that gathers that electric energy and transmutes it. And he's holding two that are pointing to the sky, which feels like that overabundance in the atmosphere, and that one that is touching the ground, like putting that energy into the ground. So how is this affecting the earth itself? It feels like that extra above is somehow being put into the ground, absorbed into the earth. It feels like this electromagnetic energy is affecting the atmosphere, like, which could, as we saw, affect humans and animals. I don't know if it's making the atmosphere, Again, I'm not a scientist. I'm just giving you intuitive impressions with this. But it feels like the atmosphere is almost thinner, or there's something with the atmosphere itself that is a little different. It feels less thick. I don't know if that makes sense or not. It feels thinner. Like it's a little thinning going on, and there's so much of it, and it's being the earth is absorbing about half of what's being bombarded into the atmosphere, and that's what's causing the resonance to spike. Okay, so moving into the end result. What is the result of all this? What's the outcome going to be? Now, this is actually a nice card, so this makes me feel a little better because this energy coming in is like kind of intense feeling with these cards that I've been reading. Okay, but now we're moving into a water sign. We've got the Ace of Cups. That has a really nice feel to it. Now, this is the end result. What's the outcome of this? So I'm wondering if this is literally like the love card. It's bringing in a loving energy. And it's bringing in emotional balance too. And underneath it, kind of going with this, is also extremely positive card. This is the bottom of the deck. So perhaps these fluctuations and changes are just simply the earth responding and bringing everything into balance, which is what natural law is. Again, I'll bring that up. Natural law seeks to bring things into balance. The earth acts within the bounds of natural law. And so she seeks to make things right when things are out of balance. She will seek, as an entity herself, the earth is alive in many respects. And that process of bringing things into balance is what she does, okay? And this transmuting of that electromagnetic energy is somehow going to result in a more positive outcome eventually, okay? And perhaps it's just a process of purging or cleansing or changing the atmospheric realm to be more conducive to life and the process of life. But those last two cards make me feel much better about this, especially that 10 of Cups underneath, that this is all maybe part of that process of Earth assisting with helping us deal with maybe it's extra bombardment of 5G, who knows, but it felt like it was coming from outside, so more maybe sun related or space, but she's transmuting that and helping herself. But we may see some changes going on with how it does affect the earth. Again, I just feel like that atmosphere is saturated. So, but ultimately it looks like the earth will right this again once and for all, as she always does. Okay. All right. I guess that's it for now. I may revisit this in the future if there's anything new that comes up. Feel free to comment in the comment section, especially if if you're well versed in any of this. Maybe you can enlighten us in the comments. Love to hear from you. So anyway, thank you for joining me again. This has been Intuitive Edge. I appreciate you stopping by. We'll catch you next time. Bye for now.